everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alana Elizabeth. Hello. I haven't done a Q&A in a long minute, and since this is my 100th video, I cannot believe I've uploaded 100 videos. It's insane. I decided to do a Q&A, and I asked some questions on my Instagram, and yeah, let's get to it. Actually, one of the first questions that I honestly always get from people is like, how do I have the time to be uploading and like making content or whatever? Truth be told, I don't know. I literally don't. I think what helps is that I don't edit the videos that much. It's just however they come out, and then I like post basically. So like it doesn't take that long to edit, and then I just make videos of whatever I'm doing. So it's not super time consuming because I'm not like chasing a video or like a concept. I'm just doing what I do, and like that's that. So yeah, that's that question. And then let's see. Okay, if you could change one thing about what you did or how you did it during 1L, what would it be? I think it would be self-care. It's like a big thing. I think I mentioned like I attempted to like prepare myself for like pre coming into law school, like what my self-care would look like, but like I didn't do any of that. I was like, oh, on Fridays I'm gonna, have the evenings to myself, and I'm gonna do face mask and do my nails and like all these things, and I never did it. And this year I think that's been like my biggest thing where I've actually made sure to like, you know what, I'm feeling tired and feeling burnt out, I'm gonna take a break. Like I'm taking a break, and whatever I was gonna attempt to do in that moment was probably not gonna be productive, and it would have taken me longer to do. So take the break. And I think that's the one thing that I wish I would have done as a 1L, because other than that, like reading, outlining, flashcards, writing, like all of that stuff, I do the exact same thing now. Like I really think I did it well. Obviously the curve is there, the learning curve is still there. It was hard, but in regards to like what I was doing, I'm happy that I was doing it that way, because that's just the way I keep doing it. So, but the one thing, self-care. Wish I would have done that better. Next question, how did/do you balance pro bono work and school? Realistic hours of commitment, scheduling tips. So I'm the pro bono coordinator at school this year. And in regards to balancing, I also like did 25 hours last year. I mean, I just do things that I like. I think that is the biggest thing. Like, I don't just do things because, like, I don't know. Well, I think it'll look good. Like, look good on what, like, at this point, it's like building a career, building an interest. So I only do things that I'm interested in. So that helps me balance because it doesn't feel draining. And it's not like I'm doing so many things. I'm literally only doing what I'm interested in. So it's like I bring that energy with me. It obviously takes up time, and it's just something that's on my calendar. I do spend a lot of time at school, and part of that is because when I'm at school, I get all of these things done there, and then I don't bring it back home with me. Sometimes I'm at home when I'm working on something, and that's fine, but generally that's kind of how I try and balance it. In regards to realistic hours of commitment, I only do about 5 hours of pro bono a week, and like that's pretty much it. Like I don't try to take on more than I think is going to take up that amount of time, because 5 hours is pretty much what I have scheduled to take up for that. So kind of sticking to a routine is always helpful for scheduling tips. And obviously things are subject to change whenever you're like in a time crunch, like one class has a midterm or you have an event coming up and like that sort of thing. But for the most part, like I try and stay pretty close to my schedule because I made that schedule for a reason. It's like what I think is going to be most helpful for me. Next question, on-campus recruitment, ideas for professional and comfortable outfits for between classes interviews. I always go with literally jeans, like black jeans, and a collared shirt, and then I stick my blazer in my locker. I think like most interviews have been on Zoom. And so like the bottom doesn't like matter, but black jeans are helpful because that way you don't look super random when you're in school. And like collared t-shirts, they're not t-shirts, like but collared shirts I think pretty classic, and they don't look too out of place on campus. And they're probably not the most comfortablest thing, but they're not the most uncomfortablest thing. And I definitely don't wear the blazer the whole time. I literally just have it in my locker and pull it out for the interview itself. So that kind of keeps it low key and comfortable, but still looking good for the actual interview. What is business casual? Go to places for affordable work attire. Business casual, I always see that as like, again, dark jeans and like a nice blouse type of thing, and like you can wear a blazer if you want, and shoes like don't have to be heels. Like I don't know, it's weird. Also dresses and like a cardigan, I see that as business casual. Go to places, I really have not bought anything at all for school for the last 2 years. But like places that I've gone to in the past, like Ross and H&M, those are helpful places. They're like pretty low budget, and if you stick to classic items like white collared shirt, black blazer, sort of thing, like it's easy to maintain and you don't have to be purchasing things too often. So I mean, like literally blazers, I've had them for years. My only black blazer I've had, I literally had since like middle school, and that's the one I keep using because there's nothing wrong with it and it doesn't look that bad, like in regards to like length, because obviously it may fit me longer before, but it looks like it was meant that way, so I'm not gonna change it until I have to. How did your summer job shape your 2L years approach? Priorities, activities, course selection, etc. My summer job, I don't feel like it shaped my 2L year approach. I've always known I wanted to do immigration, and so my summer job only like solidified that and made me excited for what I had the opportunity to do this year, which is like to take a class on asylum law and to be part of the policy clinic. But it didn't really change anything. Like I would have done that regardless, because that's what I wanted to do and that's why I'm in school. So I don't really think it really affected me for this year. Biggest difference between 1L year and 2L year, I don't know. 1L year, they're both like tiring, but there's different type of tiring. Like 1L year, you're just kind of like constantly being like made into like understanding something new and everything. So it's tiring in the sense that it's really overwhelming. Like there's just a lot of new things coming at you and you're just like, For 2L year, it's just exhausting. Like you kind of know what you should be doing and what you're doing and like all of that sort of thing. But it's just tiring because like you have classes and you have organizations on top of that, which you weren't allowed to do as a 1L. And so I think that's a big difference, like all of the like involvement. So I would recommend definitely trying to not take on that many responsibilities. And I actually did actively try. Like I did say no to things that past me would have been like, oh yeah, I can do everything. Like no, I can't. And even what I have now, it's like, oh, it's a little much, but I still think I can do it. So I guess it's fine. But maybe I would have been better off choosing one less thing to do. But I wouldn't change it because I like these things that I'm involved in. But yeah, I don't know. I would recommend trying to keep it to a minimum and like not say yes to a bunch of organizations just because you can. Because it'll get really, really, really exhausting and you'll be very freaking busy. Yeah, let's see. How do you like living in SF? Better than LA? I actually really enjoy San Francisco, and I think also it's because I don't have a car, and I don't really plan on getting a car in like literally 5 years. And SF is so much more accessible to people who don't have a car. Like public transport is pretty good. Like also you can walk to a lot of things, and LA, you don't really have that option. Like you really, in LA, it's like if you have a car, it's better. So yeah, I think that's a big thing. I do really like living in SF. I don't know. I mean, maybe better. Yeah, probably better to be honest. I feel bad. I mean, I'm not really like an LA native. I'm from LA County, so whatever. I do like SF better. What has been your favorite class so far? Well, USSM seminar, literally learning about things I actually want to practice and be involved in. So that's great. I mean, it's also been really freaking annoying reading about the Board of Immigration Appeals and like immigration judge decisions. It's like, how can you come to that decision? Like, what? So it's been annoying at times to be like reading and stuff, but it is my favorite class because it's literally what I want to practice. Biggest challenge in law school, and how have you overcome it? I feel like, I don't know if I necessarily have overcome it, but it's definitely that constant feeling of not being enough, like imposter syndrome, because it's like everything's so new 1L year, and then even when 2L year, it's like, what if last year was a fluke? Like this is so hard, and like even now with like being involved in organizations, sometimes part of me is like, what if I can't really do all of them, and then like the semester or the grades suck because of this involvement and like not being just school 24/7 like the way last year was. That's like a biggest thing. And like in regards to like how I overcome it, I don't know if I've quite finished overcoming it. I'm just day by day, I've really been honing in and focusing on like moment by moment. Like when I feel myself starting to like really go off and like to the deep end, thinking of like, what if this, what if that, I just like just come back and like remind myself like, lucky to be here. It's hard, but I'm excited. Like I'm working through it. Like each moment, is its own moment. Focus only on the moment. And like I think that's been very, very helpful, trying to like bring myself back from like going too off into the deep end, thinking about like different scenarios and things that worry me and like kind of give me anxiety about the law school journey. So yeah. How do you study differently as a 2L compared to a 1L? Like I said, I pretty much study the same. The only thing is that I did kind of update the way I read. Before I used to read the case almost like 3 times, like skimming, reading, and then taking notes on it. And now I Quimby and I read and like take notes. So twice instead of like the skimming and just reading, I Quimby and that's like my thing, and then I read and take notes. So it's faster in a sense, but I'm still reading it. Like I definitely don't feel comfortable going into a class just having Quimby did or something, because like Quimby doesn't always have the same version as like the book does, and so sometimes Quimby goes over more dissents or like other concurrences or something that the book itself might not be. So that's like biggest change I think I've done. How do you have a social life and still stay on top of school? Do I have a social life? I feel like not that much, but at the same time, I'm not really crazy go-getter person. I'm pretty quiet, so to me, like taking the time to like watch Netflix or like go on walks during the day or try a new coffee place or something like that, like that is a social life for me. Like I don't really have to be going out to parties or like doing anything like that. Like that's not really my scene. So yeah, that's kind of how I balance it. It doesn't really take up too much of my time. And yeah, that's it. Hey, so this is clearly a different clip, but as I was editing the video, I realized that I forgot to answer a question. And the question I forgot to answer was if I'm thinking about doing law review or moot court for next year. And I really wanted to answer this because as I shared over the summer, I had started the law review application and like decided to not go through with it and just kind of left it up to like, well, if I feel like doing it next year, maybe. And then also with moot court, if some of y'all really were seeing all my videos, may have known that I actually did apply to moot court, but I was very specific of like not wanting to be on the team if it wasn't on the team that I wanted to be on. So like did not really set myself up for success on getting accepted onto the team because I was being very particular, but I really just didn't want to spend the time doing moot court if it wasn't going to be part of like my interest in the law, because I think I'm pretty okay with public speaking. I actually answered the question. No, I'm not thinking about doing it next year. Kind of for those same reasons. I feel like
I have like an externship lined up next semester, and I'm like looking for summer opportunities. And there's clinics at the school that I want to be involved in. Like all of that takes time, and obviously my current worry is about not having a good balance of school work and extracurriculars, and so I don't want to take so much that I can't do it all. And so this is part of like the things that I am like limited myself in. Like, yeah, everybody seems to be pushed towards doing those things, and like there's this idea that you like have to, or that if you don't, like, then what are you doing? It's like, listen, I'm busy enough, you know? And so it's not something I plan on doing next year. I'm going to stay with this similar things that I'm involved in with this semester and next semester for next year. So yeah. Now back to the video.
I am just kind of in disbelief that this has literally been my 100th video, and it's been like 2 years now since I made this channel of me and my friends just being crazy people in San Francisco, visiting schools, and I ended up coming here to San Francisco. Like, it's just insane. It's been really fun to be making all these videos, and I'm like excited to be making more videos, kind of just being honest with y'all about how like I'm feeling and how law school's going, and just kind of create a look into what that looks like. So thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate, you know, having people comment and like interact with me, and I really hope that at least one person benefits from the videos that I upload, and that it's helpful to y'all. Always feel free to comment questions. If you follow me on Instagram, to DM me on there or something. Always here to help, basically. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you guys in the next